Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Band Journals. I have got my Daphne's Diary planner here in front of me, and I thought I'd take you through it and show you what I've done so far and how I've been using it this year. So first of all, I did a video showing a full flip through of what it looked like before I altered it and personalized it. And then I do have a video showing how I did that. Took out all the front pages here, so we start right off here with January, and I did remove quite a lot of these middle pages, so I'll show you. All of the weeks have a have a smaller sheet of paper in between the week, so I do remove those quite often. I wasn't sure if I was going to remove them all the time, because I do like my journals to be quite compact. I don't like alligator mouth. I don't like chunky journals. So I thought that could minimize bulk if I take all those out, and then if I add my own photos, then this saves space if I take those out. But I didn't take them all out because I thought, where am I going to stick my photos? There's not much space in this journal. So I thought I could keep that in for when I do have photos and do like a photo gallery on it. But it's only been 1 month, really, a complete month, so I'll show you how I've stuck my photos in. I have printed them out small and then just found space wherever I can just around the page to put them. So this was still December, so I'm recording the trip I took to Melbourne and to Bendigo, and so I got photos from that trip. And then coming into January here, I was still in Melbourne, so I just got some other photos and things from Melbourne. This is such a gorgeous vintage jewellery box that I have turned into a printable for my beautiful Ruby patrons. And here, this is a photo of where I stay when I go to Melbourne, and it's just so full of beautiful green trees. I call Melbourne, where I grew up, the green lumpy places after Donald Miller's book. He is my favorite author, and he talks about the green lumpy places, and I moved from the green lumpy places to the blue sparkly places. So eventually I think that will be some sort of memoir title there, the green lumpy places and the blue sparkly places, because now I live, I was living in the Dandenongs with green trees everywhere and lots of hills and bush, forest, to now living in a small country beach town where I'm surrounded by blue sky and ocean. So yeah, and then all I've been doing for my journaling is sort of a dot point list or star points, or just writing what I did that day. Often it will include what TV show I watched, or what movie I watched, what book I'm reading, what I'm listening to, what I'm making, what I'm filming, and any other things that I do, like going to the post office, and yeah. Sometimes I talk about the weather. Here we watched a movie called No Exit. Here's my list of prompts for the January Intentional Life course, which is also a monthly prompt list for my patrons. And this here, a friend gave me one of these bunny rabbits, chocolate bunny rabbit gifts as a gift, so I just stuck that in there. Some food packaging here, some op shopping tags, just some other little random pieces from my vintage hauls, and a piece of Happy Mail from the lovely Xenia, because I love a ballet. So anytime I get any sort of happy mail, I try to include it into my daily journal. Hopefully, ideally on the day that I bought it or received it or did it, I can put the ephemera on that day, but I'm really struggling with the small space. So as long as it's somewhere on the page, or perhaps even on the next page, it's all good. This was a lovely postcard that came from Diana. Thank you so much, Diana. I love it. So I definitely put that just in my journal, paper clipped in. So that's one thing I can do. I can, tip things in if I want with washi, paper clips, rather than sticking it directly on the page, and that way I still preserve all of that writing space. I've used up my last Washi Wednesday tapes, so just when you get the last little bit, just put that in here. So I do need to do another order for Washi Wednesday tapes. And then here, this is how I've been adding my extra photos if it can't fit in the day spread. At the end and start of each month, there's a double page spread, and I'm not particularly interested in what they've got there, what the images are. Some of them I am, some of them I like them and will keep them, but like this, perfect spot to cover up with photos, So I'm going to reserve this back page of each month to put any remaining photos from that month. And I hope that works, because some months I might have more photos. I'm being a lot more selective this year in what goes in my journal. Last year, when I had a whole page per day in my Hobonichi Show, I printed out so many photos and just chucked them all in. This year, I'm being a lot more selective in which photos I choose to print, because I know I don't have as much space. So photos of my cat, for example, I always take photos of my cat. They'll be there every month probably. And I tried on this outfit. I didn't get it in the end, but it's just a note to self that maybe I would like to wear a jumpsuit, because I've never been into jumpsuits before, but they're just so cozy. When I put it on, I was like, oh my gosh, I never want to take this off. It feels so comfy and light and free. And so I was like, oh, maybe I do want a jumpsuit one day. So I'm keeping my eye open. But yeah, that was quite fun. And then here I have just got a sticker from Your Creative Studio when that box arrived, and some other things like these. I know what they represent. A printable that I downloaded from Amity Bloom that I bought for the Christmas giveaway as well. I made my own journal cover with that. And then this one here was the first day back at ballet. So I'm no longer teaching ballet, which I'm so thankful for. I'm glad to get my Wednesdays back now. It was fun to do for 1 year and a dream come true, but it takes a lot out of your time, your week, having to do lesson planning and choreographing dances, and just a bit stressful and too full on. So I'm glad to not be teaching ballet this year, and just to go and be a student is just much more relaxing, or less stressful. And so, because I'm doing the book course this year, I'm full-time small business owner, and full-time I'm doing a bookmaking course. So it's just a lot more busy this year. And so I'm glad that I could, we have to say yes to some things and no to other things. And if we want to say yes to something, that does mean we have to say no to some things as well, like make sacrifices. So I talk about that in the Intentional Life course. What are we going to say yes to and no to? What are we going to say we want more of and less of? And I've made room for the bookmaking course, basically. Here I just have my budget and time schedule, brainstorming, note-taking for the Intentional Life course. A little sticky note, like sometimes I will write little sticky notes for other things, and then once I've done what I needed to do with that note, because it's just to remind me of something, I'm like, I could chuck it out, but let's put it in my journal just to remind me of what was going through my head at the time. Or this is like real life ephemera, right? I was making some vintage sewing journals. I've got them right here next to me, actually. This is a custom order, and I'm going to make some others too, and I'm showing the process over on my Patreon as the February video series for my Sapphire patrons. So making vintage sewing journals from start to finish, and they all have this fabric. So I just put some there to remind me of that. Just little snippets. Thank you card from Your Creative Studio. And then over here, I was making some Granny Chic journals, which I'm still in the process of making. That's my next collection. And so I cut out some pieces from some Granny Chic pages, and just, aren't they beautiful? I love them. They're so pretty. And just decorated the pages with these little bits. Like, oh, so pretty. I do like that book, Granny Chic. I've done a flip through of that on my channel as well. And then here's another little sticky note. This was my sticky note that I used for when I did the video for Willow World in February, what's going on with all the different tier levels with my patrons. And here was just my note to self to remember, okay, vintage labels is for rubies, the sewing journals for sapphires, the ephemera holders for the emeralds, and etc, etc. So, and just other things that I needed to announce in Willow World Beyond Blue. We've got over 20 ladies, I think now, who are part of the fundraiser, and 5 crafty donations have come through already, and I'm super excited. It's so fun. It's already the 6th one has been posted, and yeah, it's very exciting. I'm loving it. And then yeah, we're up to Saturday here. I'm filming this on a Saturday the 11th. I'm not sure when this video will come out. And what I do have to say is I am struggling a little bit with how little space there is. I'm kind of wondering if I need a supplementary journal where I can kind of let loose more with sticking things on, you know, and when I want to get a bit more visual, and you know, I've got my photos and just bigger pieces that I want to create with. So I'm just like, maybe that's what my art journal is for, or I don't know, we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm kind of liking it. You sort of only see the value of a journal after a good amount of time. As you fill it up, you see how it's, you know, you can't just do 2 pages and be like, I hate this. Well, you can if you want, of course. But for me, I need to keep on going. And even though it's not ideal, you know, I'm very limited in space. It's not ideal. I still, as I flip through it, I'm appreciating it as it is, and can see that this is, in its own way, a wonderful record of the year. I would like a bit more detail, a bit more information here. I would like a bit more things to be able to put on the page. But as it stands, if I have nothing else, I'm glad to have this as a little, yeah, running out of voice. Yeah, I'm glad to have this as a record of my year. But yeah, if I start to feel that inner need where my soul is just like, I need more space, then I will probably start something else. Like, I won't give up on this, because that was a possibility. There was a chance that I would just do 2 pages and be like, I don't like this, and I stop using it. But I think now that I've done it, I like how it's coming along. I will keep going with this, and if I do need more space, I'll just figure out some other, you know, other journal to create in. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that look at what I've done so far, and I will continue filling this up and sharing little updates as I go. But yeah, it's really fun to try something different. I think that's what I'm enjoying as well, trying a different journaling style. It forces you to be a bit more creative, especially when you've got limits on space. Limits force you to be creative. Embrace the limits, I say. Yeah, and it's filling up nicely, I think. Filling up nicely, which is wonderful. A filled up journal is the best type of journal. All right, hope you are doing really well. And if you have one of these, let me know how you're using it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys. Special thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in January. If you would like to become a patron in February, and the link is down below, and that is where you get access to extra videos, all my printables, all my digital kits in my Etsy. There are post tiers, mail tiers, and journal tiers as well. There is a Marco Polo tier and just lots of fun stuff over there. There is also a link to all of my available courses down below in the description box. You can join those anytime for all of my Patreon and courses. They're monthly subscriptions that work just like Netflix or Spotify, and you're charged on the date that you sign up, and you can cancel anytime.